the most lethal combination in music today, Dr. Dre and Eminem.
In front of y'all, and I don't gotta be false or sugarcoated at all. I just get on the mic and spit it, and whether you like to admit it, I just better than 90% of you rappers out, kid. Then you wonder how can kids eat up these albums like it's funny, cause at the rate I'm going when I'm 30, I'll be the only person in a nursing home flirting, pinching nurses' asses when I'm for Jergens and I'm jerking, but this whole bag of Viagra isn't working, and every single person is a Slim Shady lurking. He could be working at Burger, spitting on your onion rings, or in the parking lot circling, screaming I don't give a with his windows down and the system up. So will the real Shady please stand up and put one of those fingers on each hand up and be proud to be out of your mind and out of control. And one more time, loud as you can. How does it go? I'm Slim Shady, yes I'm the real Shady. All you other Slim Shadys are just imitating. So won't the real Slim Shady please stand up? Please stand up, please stand up. Cause I'm Slim Shady, yes I'm the real Shady. All you other Slim Shadys are just imitating. So won't the real Slim Shady please stand up? Please stand up, please stand up. Cause I'm Slim Shady, yes I'm the real Shady. All you other Slim Shadys are just imitating. So won't the real Slim Shady please stand up? Please stand up, please stand up. Cause I'm Slim Shady, yes I'm the real Shady. All you other Slim Shadys are just imitating.
Okay.
That's right here.
Yeah. Sit down.
Check. Hello.
Working. So
Hello, London. How are you?
how was Amsterdam? Do you remember anything of last night at all?
No.
I remember starting the night.
What time did it end?
About 3 hours ago.
So what's happening with the show then? What's happening with the show at the moment? I mean, obviously you're not doing two separate sets, you're doing it together. Break down how it works on stage. It's like, what, an hour and 10 minutes long, and you come on and do like half a set with M? How's it working?
Basically, I come out naked and do my thing. About halfway through the show, I put my clothes on. Dre comes out on stage. You know, I'm just basically there as a hype man for Dre. You know, I just try to warm up the crowd until Dre comes out. 'Cause once Dre comes out, I become chopped liver. And it's like, you know, it's like, okay, yeah, thanks Eminem, but Dr. Dre!
Is it the first time you played Real Slim Shady live in front of that many people?
Tonight, you mean?
No, last night in Amsterdam.
No, I've been doing it for the past, 4 shows. 4 or 5 shows, maybe. I did some shows back in the States and did the song, you know, premiered the song or whatever.
Yeah. Is there any other new material you're playing off the new record, off Marshall Mathers, in the set?
Yeah, I do like 2 new songs. I do a couple of the old songs. I do some current, you know, shit like, you know, off Biggie's album, his new album. Yeah, Dead Wrong. What you call it? Funkmaster Flex's album. Just current things I've been on, you know.
Okay, let's open it up to the floor. Who wants to talk? Who wants to ask a question? Yep.
This is Janus Køster from Politiken Daily in Denmark. This is the question for Eminem. I was just wondering, which issue has been the most important for you to address in the new album, and how did you do it?
Which issue?
Yeah.
Critics would probably be the most talked about issue that I'm discussing on this album, you know. Along with, I say some things about some boy-girl groups and some other things about some other people, whether they deserved it or not, you know. In my book, they do, if they're corny. So I brought it to a lot of sissies, basically, on this album, and critics who had things to say about me and didn't quite understand my lyrics last time around, you know, and took everything that I said literally. So, you know, basically I'm addressing a lot of critics, and I got, like, pretty personal on this album, too, you know. That's why the album is called the Marshall Mathers LP. You know.
How did you deal with the critics on the album?
How do I deal with the critics?
On the
You
album?
have to get the album and see. You might be mad.
Was that always going to be the concept of the record, the Marshall Mathers LP, when you first laid down the first rhyme and did the first beat? Was that always going to be what it was going to be called and how it was going to move?
Nah, I was juggling some titles around. At first I was juggling around a title called Amsterdam because I wrote like 4 songs in 2 days when I was in Amsterdam. But basically once I started writing the songs and, you know, seeing which direction the album was going, it just got more personal and more personal. And, you know, I love the media. I thank God for the media because you guys give me shit to talk about. If it wasn't for y'all, I probably would have shit left to talk about, you know, so.
Who's up next?
Here. Hi, this is Godfrey Distel, O3 Magazine, Vienna. Two things.
Two things.
Yeah.
What a coincidence. I've got two things here, too.
Two things. Two questions. One for Eminem and one for Dr. Dre.
Which one's first? For who?
First for Eminem.
Okay.
So many rappers working in Hollywood today. Are there any plans that someday there's going to be a Slim Shady movie out?
Is that an earthquake? Yeah, me and Dre have been discussing a movie that we would like to do. We've been talking about it for like a year now. We were talking about doing a movie about, you know, based on my life or whatever, you know, something like that. But we've been so busy with the music right now, it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like as soon as we take a break and are able to wind down, you know, there's talks of doing that. Other than that, I've had a couple of movie offers, nothing that really grabbed me, you know, that I wanted to jump right into. I'm doing my thing with the music right now so much that, you know, this is what I'm happy doing.
Will you script that together if you go ahead and do that film?
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and for Dr. Dre, what artistic concept could we expect from the NWA reunion?
Well, the NWA reunion, we just started planning that. Me, Cube, Snoop, and Ren, we actually got together and started talking about some of the things we're going to address with this record. We're definitely going to do it. Hopefully we get a release for the end of next year. We're going to call the album Not These Niggas Again. And we're just going to do our thing.
Are you having a hard time, you know, trying to bypass a lot of people that are trying to make a lot of quick cash out of this NWA project at the moment and keeping it pure?
Yeah, that's what we're going through right now. First of all, we have to find out who owns the name NWA. Should I wait?
That was the person there, I think, actually. That was
Yeah, we have to find out who owns the name NWA, first of all. Then we have to make sure that there are not a lot of people dipping their hands in the pot that shouldn't be receiving anything from this project. So once all the business is squared away, we'll go in the studio.
Are you also planning to do any of that kind of material live when you go live in America this summer? Any new NWA stuff or old stuff?
I think we're going to do a couple of songs live. We won't be starting on the record until the tour is over, and we do plan to do an NWA tour after the record comes out.
Okay, so that's NWA. Who's up next? Yep, a lot of people
Hi.
over to the right side of the ring.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi, my name is Snake from Warsaw.
My name is
Poland.
Stacey.
How you doing? How you doing, Eminem?
I'm all right.
That's a question for both of you.
That was the question?
No,
That's
that will be
right.
a question for both of you.
Both of who?
Both of you. Go on.
You both were in the underground. Now you're like huge stars. Could you tell me where is the border between underground and the commercial thing for you?
For me, I still feel like I'm an underground artist, regardless of how many units I sell. The subject matter and the topics that I rap about are still underground. You know what I'm saying? They're still raw. I don't try to, you know, polish up my shit for nobody. I don't, you know, I tell it like it is. And when you buy a Slim Shady album, you're gonna get Slim Shady. You're not gonna get birds and bees and flowers and trees. You're gonna get fuck you, suck my dick, cock-sucking motherfucker. That's what you're gonna get because that's what I'm about. And I don't feel like I have to compromise my style for nobody. You know, just because MTV or BET might pick up on a video, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. You know, if my shit does have some type of mass appeal to it, then that's good. You know what I'm saying? It reaches a wider audience, but I don't try to compromise myself for nobody, you know.
Dre, you've actually, you know, in your lifetime, you've sold millions and millions of records, 11 platinum albums, but you've also had moments in your career, especially in NWA, where there were a lot of people trying to call you on your underground credibility. Where do you draw the line between the two?
Well, I don't know what the difference is. When do you stop becoming underground? Because I believe that all the music that I do is hardcore street music from the underground, you know, because that's where I started. So I don't know what the difference is, and I don't know when, you know, when you stop being underground? When are you
I
not
think-
considered underground?
I think that people, when people get underground confused a lot of times, like people think that once your shit gets played on the radio, it's not underground anymore, and then they look for the next artist, you know. But to me, like underground, when I think of underground, I think of you know, raw street material. I don't think of backpackers talking about mathematical, psychological, illogical, you know what I'm saying? That's the type of shit that's underground. Underground shit, you know, to some people means that you never get played on the radio, which is just an excuse because you can't make hits. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, it's an excuse.
Basically.
Yeah, it's basically an excuse that I can't write a hook, I can't write a hit, I can't write a hook, so I put scratch it in my hook and I talk about mathematical, psychological, alphabetical, numerical type shit
That
that
was
nobody
good, actually.
understands.
That sounded good, by the way, though.
Thanks, man.
And then they lash out on the people who are getting played and who are, you know, becoming a big success in this business. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Doing the same type of music.
But were you surprised when My Name Is blew up?
I was surprised, yeah, when My Name Is blew up. I didn't know exactly what it was gonna do. I mean, this was my first time, you know, actually doing this or whatever. It was my first time exposed to the public, and I never considered myself anything more than an underground artist. You know what I'm saying? Just because of the subject matters I talk about and the way that I rap or whatever, the things that I talk about, I thought, you know, I was surprised, to be honest.
Were you surprised?
No.
Next. Yep.
Timon from Poland. I got the question. First question is for Dr. Dre. DJ Yella was in the original NWA lineup, so why he's not included in the new reunion album?
Well, we haven't found DJ Yella yet.
Okay, so he's lost, right?
DJ
Nah.
Yella is MIA.
Now, what happened was before we even started talking about putting the group back together, Yella had been at my house and we were kicking around talking about old times. And he moved and I moved and we kind of lost touch. So whenever we find him, he'll be down with us for sure.
So if you've seen DJ Yella,
Tell him we're
call
looking for him.
1-800.
Okay, I'll do.
1-800 NWA wants to make another record.
Okay, and another question for Mr. Eminem. Did you change your style for the new LP, for the Marshall Mathers LP? And if not, aren't you afraid that that style can get boring on the second album?
For that question, the only thing I would have to say is buy the album, you know.
Do you have a style? Do you think you have a style? A definitive style?
I'll
to your-
answer
to
that
your-
question. This
Yeah, go for it.
album is killing the last one, in my opinion. I think this album is the last album on steroids. You know what I'm saying? In my opinion.
Okay, I have no comment.
Okay, next question.
I have a question for Dr. Dre, Frank from Poland. Are there any new artists that are coming up on Aftermath?
Definitely. There's a cat that's on my album named Hitman that we're going to be working with. I'm also working with Exhibit, who did some work on the 2001 album. And I have a new R&B female vocalist that I've been searching for the last 10 years. You know what I'm saying? Her name is The Truth. And hopefully we'll be checking her out by the end of the year.
And Dre's making beats for my mom, too, and hopes to produce her soon, so.
Okay. Next question. Anyone else got anything else to ask? Who's up next? Yeah. Okay.
Hi, I'm Bart from Kerkenleven, Belgium. Got a question for Mr. Dre. You got involved in several lawsuits. You've sued
Which
some
one do you want to talk
Lawsuits.
Pick one. Last week you sued Napster
Yes.
because they were stealing your music. Basically.
Definitely. What Napster did is enable people to get the music that I work hard for nothing. You know what I'm saying? What they're basically doing is taking food out of my kid's mouth. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. They, in my opinion, I believe if Napster succeeds with what they're going to do, you're never going to hear any new music because there's not any artists that are going to want to go in the studio and record if their music is being given away for free.
It's like, what is the whole element of somebody putting out an album and building a hype around it, somebody being anxious to hear someone's album? It's like we might as well, like me and Dre might as well cut a song and put it right on the internet before it comes out. Like, here you go. This is the song we just did. You know, why don't we just put it song by song. If Napster continues, it's gonna be like nobody's gonna want to keep making music anymore because it's like everybody is gonna get it for free. So what's the point in making the music? It's like, you know, you make the music from your heart and you spend hours in the studio and then somebody just gets it for free. It's like you're working for free. Like here, you can't support your kids or nothing because they want to, you know, they're basically taking your music for free.
Straight up, but I don't think there's anybody in this room that wants to go to work and not expect to see a paycheck in return. Straight up, this is my job. This is what I do for a living.
Would you have used an outlet like Napster now if you were just starting out and you had a demo tape and no one was listening to your music and no record companies were calling you back? Would you jump on there and try and promote your music that way, though? Do you think there's a positive aspect to young artists through the internet and downloading music?
Yes, I do think that's a positive thing about it if it's done that way. But they're taking our music that we spend money on, hard work and time, and we're professionals with this, you know what I'm saying? And they're just giving it away.
Like, when I picture, like, somebody working for Napster, I picture, like, this little fucking scrawny Weezer going, hey, I got Dr. Dre's new shit. You want to hear it? You want to hear it? And then it's like, you know, it's killing record sales. It's you know, especially for hip-hop, it's like, you know, it's killing the whole impact of a hip-hop record. You know, it's killing record sales, you know. It's killing everybody's record sales, like, in the aspect of all music. You know what I'm saying?
Napster, it's a killer. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I'm sure there's a few people who also want to talk a bit about the Lucas lawsuits. Let's get this out of the way now. You're also being sued by George Lucas.
Yeah. There's a sound. There's a sound at the beginning of my album. It's a THX sound. I originally used his sound, and I tried to get it cleared, and they said they wouldn't clear it, so I said, fuck it, and went back in the studio and created my own sound. Now they're saying it sounds similar, and which it does. It sounds similar, but it's my sound that we created in the studio. So that's what the lawsuit was about. And I believe we're going to end up settling, and they're going to get what I was offering them in the first place.
Next up. Yep.
Hi, how are you doing? Unine Fitzsimons. I'm from a TV show called No Disco in Ireland. How are you? Dre, your album kicks ass. It's brilliant.
Thank you.
My question's for Eminem. Your debut album was obviously about your life up until that point, and then your second album, you can correct me if I'm wrong here, your second album is about rising from then to the success now. Like, I haven't heard it, but I'm just talking about from what I've read and what I expect, and you're saying yourself it's about the critics. So what's going to happen now if people start being really nice to you, and if you start getting like really rich, really, really happy, and you've no, you know, motherfucking barking dogs to talk about?
Then I'll probably rap like Will Smith.
God
I hear
forbid.
PM Dawn's looking for a new sidekick as well. You might want to get down with that too.
Yeah.
Can I ask one other thing, yeah? As well as that, you're talking about how
You can
this
ask
album...
two.
Thanks very much. Two more.
Two more.
Your album's written, this one's written a lot about the critics and how they're, you know, reacting towards you and how people are writing about you. And I can see that people are really going for your personal life and this, that and the other. Do you think you'll get to the stage whereby you'll be able to release albums and not go for the press side, not have to come to a press conference like this and talk to people, just be able to like release your albums and let them speak for themselves and not have to come along? And it's really for Dre as well, that you don't have to actually go and do all the big press push on it.
Yeah.
I think that if people listen to this album first, then nobody would have any questions for me. You know, I think any question that anybody could possibly ask me up to this point is answered on this new album. You know, that's why I wish I could just put the album in here and just play it and let it go and sit and drink and do some drugs, because, you know, I feel like I sufficiently answered every question there is to know about me.
But you know yourself that journalists aren't going to do that. They're not going to listen to the album and not ask you questions. They're still going to question you about
I
your
know
lyrics and this,
journalists
that, and
want
the
to
other.
go, what do you mean when you said you got the cat out of the tree? Well, I got the cat out of the tree. No, but there's got to be a deeper meaning. When you got the cat out of the tree, does it mean you like to climb trees? You know, it's you know, everybody's got it. There's always a deeper meaning people think behind when I say fuck you. But it's not. It really means fuck you when I say fuck you. You know.
Thanks a million.
Okay. Who's the next journalist that wants to ask a question?
This is Denmark again. I was just wondering, over here, please. I was just wondering, this is for Eminem as well. For a style, for an album that was already that hard-boiled, how did you work? How did you develop on your own rap style from your first album? Wasn't it hard to do that?
Nah, I've been rapping. I've been writing lyrics since I was like 14 years old, you know. And just the more I wrote, the better I kept getting at it. So, you know, it wasn't, especially once I met Dre, it was kind of like I had a vision of where I wanted to take it, and Dre just showed me how to take it there. You know what I mean? It's kind of like we both had the same, like vision for myself, you know, where to take it or whatnot. And Dre just showed me how to execute it, you know.
Did you have a point to prove as an MC on this record, do you think? And not just a vehicle for controversy and a vehicle for fuck you, suck my dick?
On this record?
Yeah.
No. No. I always feel like I gotta prove myself. I don't have to prove myself to nobody but me. And I'm a perfectionist, you know. I consider myself a perfectionist. And I always want to try to top my last, not just album, but try to top my last song that I did. So you might hear the gradual build-up on this album from one song to the next, you know. Every time I sit down and write a rhyme or a song, I want it to be completely different from the last song I wrote, and I want the rhyme style to be completely different, the beat to be different. So, you know, you might hear that on this album.
So how are the beats different, Dre? How are the beats that you worked on different?
That's a good question. Whenever we go in the studio, I try to make something much better than the last thing I created. You know what I'm saying? So they're, in my opinion, a lot better than the last shit I produced. You know what I'm saying? It's just that. That's just something that I believe in. I believe an artist or producer or whoever should try to top themselves every time they go out there, and that's what I try to do.
And you know, it's been almost 2 years now. It's going on 2 years since me and Dre have been working together. So it's like, you know, we just got more comfortable, like, working with each other and whatever. And, you know, Dre is starting to get more of a feel for what I like, you know, as far as beats and whatnot, you know. So we're just getting more comfortable working together, so the music is obviously going to come out better, you know, the more comfortable you get working with somebody.
Okay, who's next?
Yeah. Hi. A couple of questions. First for Dr. Dre. Is it true that NWA asked Tarantino to do your video?
Yeah, we actually met with Quentin Tarantino, and he was supposed to direct a video, and he was pitching an idea to us that he had. We didn't get a chance to do it because we think that we waited too long to release that song as a single. So hopefully we'll get to work again with him in the future. You know what I'm saying? He's a hot director.
Are there any other directors that you want to work with? Sorry.
No.
Next.
George Lucas, no? Sorry. The second question. You were talking about Napster, but hasn't Napster offered Limp Bizkit to underwrite their tour? Are they trying to do something else?
That is true.
That is very true.
Are they trying to rectify the situation somehow?
To tell you the truth, I have no idea what the fuck they're trying to do.
Thanks.
Okay, just to answer that question quickly, it's $1.8 million of tour support's going into that free tour, and Fred Durst says it's going in because he wants to send it to the fans, and it's not to do with Napster's policies. So I know that, if you want to write that down. Next.
Hi, it's the Irish Times paper here. Eminem, you've talked in the past about having 3 different personas, which is Eminem, Slim Shady, Marshall Mathers.
Can you hold the mic closer a little bit? Because it's hard for me to hear you.
Okay, you've talked before about having 3 different personas, Eminem, Slim Shady, Marshall Mathers. Could you briefly tell us where one stops and the other one begins and the difference between the 3 different characters?
Marshall Mathers stops when the Bacardi kicks in, and then it's Slim Shady. Eminem starts when I hit the stage, so it's the best way I know how to answer that.
Olivier Cachin, L'Affiche Magazine from France. You were mentioning legal issues. There are a couple of obvious references to Christina Aguilera on the video. That's here, I'm small, sorry.
Christina who?
Yeah, Christina Aguilera. So I wanted to know if you
Aguilera.
I wanted to know if you had some legal news from her yet since the video has been finished.
Pardon?
I wanted to know if you had some legal news from her since the video was finished.
I've heard things that, you know, she wants to sue me or whatever. I mean, to be honest, I can't tell you if she does or not, whatever. I mean, I feel like if you want to sue me at this point, just take a number because there's a lot of people in line. that want to do that right about now. I just think that it's kind of funny that an artist wants to sue another artist for saying something that's, you know, artistic expression. You know what I'm saying? I feel like as an artist, I should be able to say whatever I want to say on a record and not have to, you know, go through some bullshit about somebody worrying about, you know, suing me. But I think that by the time this album comes out, by the time I'm done with my rap career, I will probably have no money left from lawsuits, you know, especially after this next album comes out, you know. But I think that if everybody that I say something about is gonna sue me, I'm gonna be a broke motherfucker.
With a freedom of speech. Who's up next?
We've got somebody over here.
Pierre Terral, Roxanne grew in France. When you first met, this is a question for both of you, what did you think of each other, honestly?
I thought he was a fucking dick. And he probably thought worse of me.
I thought he was Tweety Bird. No, because he had this real bright fucking yellow sweatsuit on.
Man, if I hear one more thing about that goddamn sweatsuit. I had this yellow outfit on when I first met Dre. It was like this outfit that a clothing company had given me, and I didn't have money like some people had at the time. You know, so I was going on a week wearing it, so it was actually turning kind of green. But he called me a banana when he met me, so it was on from there.
That's a good question. Who's next?
Hi, Christian from Denmark. Last question, I think. Everybody says that you're so-and-so controversial. Do you think...
Where am I looking?
Everybody says that you're so-and-so and so controversial. Do you think you're controversial yourself?
Me?
Yeah.
I believe that I am. I believe the things that I say are controversial. Me is just speaking my mind. So speaking my mind and telling it like it is makes me controversial, then whatever. I say whatever on my mind, you know. But I had a good teacher, you know.
Okay, we're going to have to wrap up. I think we
Okay.
probably just have time for maybe one or two more questions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Think really carefully before you... Yeah, just quickly, think really carefully before you ask
New
these
single?
questions, because we've only got one or two.
The new single?
Eminem's new single.
My new single?
I can't really talk about it. I'm dead in this video in his basement.
Yeah, Dre's locked in my basement on this video, so he can't really tell you much about it. Have you heard the new single? No. Tell us about it. Oh, okay. It's called The Real Slim Shady. It's basically the chorus is saying, "Will the real Slim Shady please stand up?" And basically what the whole song, the concept of the whole song was about was, you know, trying to say that there's a Slim Shady in all of us. Everybody has a shady side to him. So in the video, I'm asking, will the real Slim Shady please stand up? And everybody's standing up in the video because everybody's got a Slim Shady in them. I said that a long time ago when I came out with my first album. I feel like everybody has a shady side to them and a side to them where they can be an asshole, you know. And Slim Shady is that asshole inside of me that comes out an awful lot.
Okay, and another one, this one for Eminem. I don't know if this is a personal question, but since your drug influences are so obvious,
He didn't say favorite. That was a good one. That was the first. Or mix of drugs. My favorite mix of drugs, if you really want to know, is whatever is around. Whatever's available that night, whatever controlled substance there is.
From Swiss Music Television, Switzerland. My question is, do you feel responsible, you two, for what you're doing? Like, do you consider yourself as being a role model? Are you serious? I'm serious. Whoa. You're making music for.
Do I feel responsible, or should I feel responsible?
I'm asking if you do.
No, I don't feel responsible at all. I said a million times in a million interviews, if I could throw a magazine in front of you right now, that I'm not a role model. I don't consider myself a role model. That's not what I'm trying to be. I would be ignorant if I sat up here and said that I don't think kids look up to me, which I think they do, but I think that kids are a lot smarter than we give them credit for, and I think the kids, if anything, may look up to me as coming from nothing to having something, you know what I'm saying? Tonight,
Aside from that,
Oh, you needed some music. We could get down right here, man.
are you doing any festivals?
Any festivals?
In Europe, this year?
I don't know, it's still up in the air. I've heard, we just got wind of a festival that's going on later on this year that I might partake in.
I mean, I would love to come over here with our Upper Smoke tour, you know what I'm saying, and do the real production. I mean, because everything that has been seen from us as far as live shows go hasn't been, you know, what we really do. You know, I would love to bring our full production over here and show you guys.
So give them a round of applause.
Yeah, we're doing a show at Brixton Academy. Yeah, in 30 minutes. What? Wait, I can get a picture, man. I don't know.